A master temple cook can slice a radish so thin that you can read a manuscript through it. But this isn't about culinary flair. If the chef's mind wanders for even a microsecond during the cut, the entire meal is considered spiritually ruined. This is the world of the Tenzo, the head cook of a Zen Buddhist monastery, where slicing a daikon radish carries the exact same spiritual weight as seated meditation. In 1223, a young Japanese monk named Dogen arrived in China by ship, searching for the deepest truths of Zen Buddhism. He hadn't even left the harbor when he received one of the most important lessons of his life. And it came not from an abbot, not from a scholar, but from a cook. An elderly monk, around 61 years old, his back bent like a bow, his eyebrows white as crane feathers, came aboard Dogen's ship. He'd walked roughly 10 miles in the heat to buy Japanese shiitake mushrooms, wanting them for a noodle soup he was preparing back at his monastery, where he served as Tenzo. Dogen was fascinated. He invited the old monk to stay, to talk, to share a meal, but the cook refused. He had to get back, because the soup wouldn't make itself. When Dogen pressed him, asking why he didn't let younger monks handle such labor, the old man's answer was simple and devastating. "They are not me." And when Dogen asked why it had to be done right now, the cook replied, "What other time should I wait for?" That second question went into Dogen like an arrow. Those words, he later wrote, were truly precious gems, and they changed the entire trajectory of his philosophy. 14 years later, in 1237, Dogen sat down and wrote the Tenzo Kyokun, which translates as Instructions for the Cook. It contains no recipes, no measurements, no seasonal menus, no guidance for any specific dish. What it contains is something far more radical, a philosophy stating that preparing food and pursuing enlightenment are not two different activities. They are one. The Tenzo holds the 5th rank among the 6 officers of a Zen monastery, but that ranking is misleading. Besides the abbot himself, the cook is the most important person in the entire community. The Tenzo is responsible for the physical well-being of every monk and every guest, and in Zen Buddhism, physical well-being and spiritual well-being are completely inseparable. Dogen identified 3 qualities of mind the Tenzo must cultivate. Cuisine, joyful mind, meaning you approach even peeling a potato with genuine delight. Roshin, parental mind, meaning you care for ingredients and the people who will eat them with the tenderness a parent shows a child. And Daishin, magnanimous mind, a bigness of spirit that sees no task as beneath attention and no ingredient as worthless. Handle even a single leaf of green, Dogen wrote, in such a way that it manifests the body of the Buddha. And that brings us to the daikon radish, and to the technique called Katsuramuki. Katsuramuki is a continuous rotary peeling motion that transforms a cylinder of daikon radish, typically about 4 inches across, into a single unbroken sheet of translucent vegetable. The chef positions an usuba knife, a single bevel blade ground on one side only, so it barely catches the surface of the radish. Then they slowly rotate the daikon with one hand while feeding the blade forward with the thumb of the other. The sheet peels away in a continuous ribbon, roughly 1 to 2 millimeters thick, so thin you can see straight through it. This ranks among the most difficult cutting techniques in all of Japanese cuisine. It's the benchmark test of a professional chef's knife skills. But in the monastery kitchen, it becomes something more. It becomes meditation made visible. Think about what the technique actually demands. Your feet planted on the ground, your breath steady, your attention entirely in your hands, in the resistance of the vegetable, in the sound of the blade, in the feel of the daikon rotating against your palm. If your mind drifts, even for a fraction of a second, the sheet tears, the ribbon breaks, and that break isn't just a culinary mistake. It's a lapse in concentration, a failure of presence, as meaningful as losing focus during Zazen. The daikon itself carries deep significance in Japanese Buddhist culture. Its white color symbolizes purity, and at Matsuchiyama Shojin Temple in Tokyo, images of daikon adorn the walls, with the root serving as the centerpiece of cleansing rituals. It's considered a purifying food, believed to neutralize impurities and toxins. For the Tenzo, washing a daikon or rinsing rice aren't preliminary steps before the real work begins. They are the real work. This philosophy gave rise to Shojin ryori, Japan's tradition of Zen Buddhist temple cuisine, practiced continuously for 800 years. The word Shojin means devotion or zealous practice, and ryori means cuisine. Every act of washing, cutting, and cooking is performed with the same quality of attention a monk brings to seated meditation. Shojin ryori follows what's known as the Rule of Five. 5 flavors: salty, sour, bitter, sweet, and umami. 5 colors: green, yellow, red, black, and white. 5 cooking methods: raw, simmered, steamed, grilled, and fried. Together, the meal engages all 5 human senses. It also avoids 5 pungent vegetables, specifically garlic, onions, leeks, chives, and scallions, which were believed to disrupt meditation by sparking lust when cooked or anger when eaten raw. Nothing gets wasted. Dogen was insistent about treating each thing encountered with great care, dismissing nothing as garbage. Tools are washed after use and stored carefully. Things are carried with both hands. Vegetable scraps are conscientiously composted. Even wash water is poured at the base of a plant rather than tossed down a drain. As one old teacher put it, regard the cooking pot as your own head, the water your own lifeblood. Today, at Eiheiji, the temple Dōgen founded in 1244 in Fukui Prefecture, approximately 150 monks live this way year-round. The monastery spans 330,000 square meters and contains more than 70 buildings, 19 of them designated important cultural properties. The daily schedule includes 8 to 10 40-minute periods of zazen, and the Tenzo still rises before anyone else to begin preparing meals in a way largely unchanged for centuries. Visitors can experience a fragment of this life. The temple offers overnight stays where guests join monks for pre-dawn prayers, zazen instruction, and 2 meals of Shojin ryori. You check in at 4 in the afternoon and follow the monastery's schedule through the next morning. By most accounts, it's quietly life-altering. What Dogen understood, and what that elderly cook on the ship tried to tell him 8 centuries ago, is that enlightenment doesn't live in some extraordinary moment. It lives in the ordinary ones, in the soup, in the mushroom drying in the sun, in the translucent sheet of daikon peeling away from the blade. The Tenzo's kitchen preserves something the modern world has largely lost: the understanding that attention itself is sacred, that how you do a thing is what you become, that a poorly washed rice pot reflects a failure of concentration, and that a meal prepared with full presence is an act of devotion as complete as prayer. What other time should I wait for?